Okay, we are looking at volume of pyramids, cones and spheres in this lesson. So first thing is we're looking at a pyramid. So I'm just choosing a pyramid and just watch what's going to happen here. So watching. So that's 2 pyramids. 3 pyramids that fill up the prism, okay? I'm going to do, so that was, I think, a square pyramid, okay? Just watching. Another pyramid, okay? So the pyramids have the same base, but this is a triangular prism, whereas this is a triangular pyramid. And we find again that 3 pyramids of the same height and base fill up the prism. So we can say that the prism is 3 times the volume of the pyramid, or that the pyramid is what fraction of the volume of the prism. If 3 pyramids fill up 1 prism, so the pyramid is 3 times the volume of the prism. How many pyramids make a prism? 3. So therefore the pyramid is what fraction of the volume? 1/3. And that's the formula. Okay, so what we've got, and I could do it for the other one as well, of a pyramid is 1/3 of the area of the base of the pyramid times the perpendicular height. Does this make sense to you? That the volume will be 1/3 of the area of the base of the pyramid times the perpendicular height. Now, yeah, so yes, you can include that in your notes. So here is a pyramid. Now it depends if it's and H is the perpendicular height. So that's the perpendicular height of the pyramid. Sorry, I know that looks like a B, but it's a H. So this is the perpendicular height of the pyramid. Sorry. And A is the area of the base. Okay, now it depends what the base is. Sometimes the base is a square. Sometimes the base is a rectangle. Sometimes the base is a triangle. It could be some other shape as well. Okay? No, if you were doing volume, you would have done area of the base times how high it is. So when we looked at that animation, we could see that 3 pyramids make up 1 prism. That's why the volume of the pyramid is 1/3 of what the volume of the prism would be. So if I look at volume is AH, that's the area of the base times the height. That's the prism. But when I put the 1/3 in front of it, that's the pyramid. Because 3 pyramids makes 1 prism. 3 pyramids with the same base area and same height. Okay? Again, 3 cones as well makes a cylinder with the same base and height. Okay? It's the same formula. And I could change the shape of the cone and it would still be the same result. Okay, so that is why volume of a cone is 1/3, again, area of the base times the height. So anything pointy. Like a cone is like a pointy, is like a pyramid. Do you know what I mean? Yes. Okay, good. Okay, next. And so that's our volume of a cone, 1/3 area of the base. This time it's a circular base, times the height. Of course, the height is the perpendicular height. Okay, now, the last formula that we're looking at today is the volume of a sphere. I'll just give you this one. Do you remember the surface area of a sphere formula? 4 pi squared for surface area, but for volume, it's different. Volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. So the way I sort of remember that one is its volume, it's the r cubed one. So we're not going to derive the formula for volume of a cube. You just learn it. Volume of a cube is 4/3 times pi r squared. So it's 4/3, sorry, pi r cubed. Pi r cubed. So volume, remember, is cubic units. That's the formula with r cubed. Surface area, you remember the video with the oranges, it's 4 circles, 4 pi r squared. So find the volume of this first shape. It's a rectangular pyramid. Again, formula, area is 1/3 area of the base times the height. This is not hard. 1/3 times. What's the area of the base? What's the shape? It's a rectangular pyramid. So the base is a rectangle. Come on. What's the area of the base? 4 times 2 is the area of your base. Times, what's the height? So girls, these are not hard. 40 over 3, which is whatever. We'll go centimetres. Cubed. And you can work out what that is. Cones, one thing I do have to say is that if the cone is slanted, for example, that is called an oblique cone. So if the cone is slanted, it still has the same formula for volume. So this is called a right cone because it goes straight upright. And this is called an oblique cone. It's a slanted cone. Sorry, it's a bit off center, like the height's a bit off center. But we still just use the same formula. So the volume is 1/3 pi r squared h. 1/3 area of the base times the height. So it's 1/3 times pi times, what's the radius? 4 squared times, height is 10. So girls, very straightforward. 160 on 3, whatever that is. The diameter here is 8. And then remember, it's centimeters cubed. You can work out what it is. Same with the other. This is a slanted cone, or it's called an oblique cone. Okay? A normal one, this is like normal, but it's called a right cone. Okay? Slanted ones have the same formula again. 1/3 area of the base times the height. Okay, so girls, these aren't difficult. They're just using the formula. Small place. I wouldn't give more than that. Okay, and this one as well, whatever that might be. Well, 3 and 3, it's about 200 and something. What is it? 200 and? 439 would give me 4. Okay? Now, so that's volume of cones, very straightforward. We're going to do some composite shapes soon, okay? They're just straightforward so far. Okay, volume of a sphere. So ladies, volume of a sphere is 4 over 3 pi r cubed. All right, what's the radius in this one? Diameter is 10, radius is 5. So it's 4 over 3 times pi times 5 cubed. 5 cubed is 125. 125 times 4 is 500. 500 pi on 3 centimeters cubed. You can work it out. So girls, these are very straightforward, right? We might do question D here, down here. But are we feeling okay with these? You would do the cylinder. What's the volume of a cylinder formula? Pi r squared. No, you've got to do the cylinder and the cone. Do you understand? Do you know how to do the cylinder? Pi r squared times h. Do you know how to do the cylinder? All right, look, we might do this one. Do you know how to do this one here? You've got to, girls, it's not surface area, it's volume. You'd find the volume of what shape's down here first? Cube. No, it's a cube. But this shape here, you would do the volume. You would do the volume of the, what's this? Cube. And then the volume of the pyramid on top.
So which one are we doing?
All right, I want to do D. So let's have a look at D. E is just 2 pyramids. Let's have a look. Volume of a prism is pi, area of the base times the height. But this is a cone. So let's just do, what 2 shapes do we have? So we've got a rectangular prism. So let's do the rectangular prism first. So what's the rectangular prism? So the rectangular prism is 4.8 times 4.8 times 1.5. We've got a rectangular prism base and we've got a cone on top. So the volume of the rectangular prism will be 4.8 times 4.8 times 1.5. But the cone, you need to know what the dimensions of the cone are. So we need its radius and its height. Now, what is the height of the cone? Yeah, it's 5.2 minus 1.5, which is 3.7. And what's the radius of the cone? The distance across the whole. So girls, that sits directly on top. So it's half of 4.8. Are you okay with that? So that cone sits, I know I haven't drawn it that well, but it does touch this side, that side, that side, that side of the square. So it's basically a circle sitting on top of a square. I know I've drawn that oblique sideways, but we're drawing it three-dimensional. It's basically a cone sitting on top of a square. That's what that shape is. It's not a rhombus on the bottom. It's a square, well, you can call it a square prism or a rectangular prism. I suppose I'll call it a square prism because the base is square. So that's 4.8 times 4.8. The diameter of the circle is 4.8, so the radius is 2.4. How do you work out the volume of the cone? What's the formula? The pointy ones are a third of the area of the base times the height. So a third of the area of the uniform cross-section times the height. It's basically a third of a cylinder, but it's a third of the area of the uniform cross-section times the height. So it's a third times pi times 2.4 squared times what? All right, you can work them out.
Miss, in the exam, will you tell us to give it in the exact form or 2 decimal places?
Yeah, you'll be asked, you'll be told in the exam exact form or 1 decimal place or whatever. All right, good. 34.56, so it's 888 pi on 125 plus 34.56. I would not want more than, give me 1 or 2 decimal places for the answer. 56 point. To 2dp. Okay. 15b, you've been given the height of the cone and the height of the whole cone with the ice cream. So we've got a hemisphere on top. Tell me about this hemisphere. What do you know about it?
The radius is 6. It's half a circle.
Good. The radius is 6. It could either go up or across the radius. Are you okay with that, girls? Because that is a radius, so's that, so's that. So the volume of a hemisphere, the full volume is 4 on 3 pi r cubed. Girls, because we've got the height of the whole thing, and we've got the height there, so that little bit there is 6. The radius is 19 minus 13, which is 6. So girls, the volume of a full sphere is 4 on 3 pi r cubed. So you've got a half of it. I like to write it like that. A half of. So it's, can you multiply these two fractions? What have you got? 4 over 6 times pi times 6 cubed. You know, I know you want to put it all into your calculator, and that's fine, but tell me what cancels here. One of the 6's cancels with that. You can just put it in your calculator. Girls, I went a half of 4 on 3. 1 times 4, 2 times 3. Remember multiplying fractions? So we've got, can someone work that out, please? Sorry?
We can't hear you. And then the bottom one.
What did you get?
144 pi.
144 pi is the volume of the hemisphere. So that's the volume of the hemisphere. Then we've got the volume of the cone. Remember, the pointy ones are a third. So isn't it a third of pi r squared h? Yes. So it's a third of. What's the radius?
6.
Pi times 6 squared. What's the height of the cone? Not the whole thing.
13.
It's 13.
156 pi.
I'll do that one on the next page.
Wait, is this working backwards?
No. 156 pi. So therefore the total volume is 300 pi.
Yeah, which is
And then you can work that out. 900 and
4.
942.5 will do. 1 decimal place. Because, so girls, these aren't that difficult. This is a, did it say 1 meter or what did it say? It's 1 centimeter, very small. So this is very small, 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter. And that's a hollow hemisphere cut out of what? A cube. So girls, isn't it just the cube? It's not hard. Minus the hemisphere, isn't it? So off you go, but you do need to know something about the cube. No, the hemisphere. What's its radius? Be careful. What's its diameter? The diameter is 1. The radius is 0.5. Off you go. Volume of a cube, length times breadth times height. It's just 1 times 1 times 1. Half a hemisphere is a half of 4 over 3 pi r cubed. 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. Pi times 0.5 cubed. Well, girls, you know what? If you want to keep it exact, you know you could write a half as a half cubed. I just don't want to pick up my calculator, girls. So it's 1 minus all of this. Do you tell me what it is? Oh, what am I doing? Yeah. Sorry. So, girls, notice I wrote a half as... I wrote a half as 0.5. Do you know why I've done that? Watching. What's a half cubed? Go. 1 over. 1 cubed is 1. 2 cubed is? No. 8. Girls, it's just so that you get to practice things. So it's 4 over 6 times pi times a half cubed. I don't want to pick up my calculator. So I went 4 over 6 times pi times a half, the fraction cubed. Yeah, it is. So that's 1 cubed is 1, 2 cubed is 8. What else can cancel? Come on, tell me what it is without picking up anything. Doesn't 4 and... Come on. Girls. Yeah, 1 and 2 at the bottom. Tell me what it is. Pi on 1. What? Pi on 12. Or it's 4 pi on 48. It's pi on 12. And girls, look, you can do it with a calc. It's fine. So it's 1 minus pi on 12. .7 what? Ladies, look, you could just actually enter that on your, you could go on your calculator, a half times 4 over 3 pi times 0.5 cubed. I know you know how to do that. I want you using your brain. That will plug out pi on 12 for you. But sometimes using a calculator is slower, sometimes. All right? It's good to train your brain a bit. That's all. I know you can just put that all in. A half times 4 on 3 times pi times 0.5 cubed. It will give you pi on 12, but we just want to practice a bit of, you know, multiplying fractions and things.